This is a fourth stimulus check, stimulus program, and news update. We have a lot of important information covered in this video, so I'm going to skip the intro for today. So the FDA authorizes Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for use in ages 12 to 15. So let me know down in the comments below, if you have a 12 to 15-year-old, would you allow them to take this vaccine? Do you think it's a good idea, bad idea? Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. So Pfizer said that at the end of March, that a clinical trial involving 2,260 12 to 15-year-olds showed the vaccine's efficacy is 100% and is well tolerated. Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. Next, let's talk about unemployment. So some GOP states are moving to end the federal unemployment benefits, which could impact at least 276,000 workers. So these states are canceling the unemployment, thinking that that's the reason why the jobs report was so low, is that people are making more money sitting at home collecting unemployment compared to getting a job. President Biden sort of agrees with this. Here's what he says in terms of people abusing the system.
We're going to make it clear that anyone collecting unemployment who is offered a suitable job must take the job or lose their unemployment benefits. There are a few COVID-19 related exceptions so that people aren't forced to choose between their basic safety and a paycheck. But otherwise, that's the law. I know there's been a lot of discussion since Friday's report, that people are being paid to stay home rather than go to work. Well, we don't see much evidence of that. That is a major factor. We don't see that. Look, it's easy to say, the line has been, because of the generous unemployment benefits, that it's a major factor in labor shortages. Americans want to work. Americans want to work. As my dad used to say, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity, your place in the community, being able to look your kid in the eye and say everything's going to be okay. I think the people who claim Americans won't work, even if they find a good and fair opportunity, underestimate the American people. No one should be allowed to game the system, and we'll insist the law is followed, but let's not take our eye off the ball.
As President Biden said, I think that people who are abusing the system should not continue to get unemployment benefits, but just like with any social system that we have in the country or in general in the entire world, there's always going to be bad apples abusing the system. So some states, while they're going to get rid of the unemployment benefits, they're going to have back-to-work bonuses. Montana's going to have a $1,200 back-to-work bonus. They want the South Carolina governor, McMaster, to enact a $1,200 return-to-work bonus. I'll keep you updated as these states cancel the unemployment. Most likely, they might have a back-to-work bonus. Also, there was a CDC eviction moratorium that was ruled against by a federal judge last Wednesday, and because of that, the race is on for federal help. Some states are starting to evict tenants regardless of the eviction moratorium, which is set to go until June 30th. For example, Governor Inslee of Washington just signed a bill which goes effective immediately, requiring just cause eviction. So basically it's saying that under this new law, which takes effect immediately, there are specific reasons that landlords could end leases, including failure to pay rent, unlawful activity, and nuisance issues, as well as cases in which landlord intends to sell or move the rental. So basically the usual reasons for evicting tenants is going on in Washington. This is probably going to set a trend. Looks like more states are going to rule against the eviction moratorium and have evictions back into play, which are sort of going on already, but now it's legal in the state of Washington. Moving on, Elizabeth Warren is saying that the latest jobs report, which was a poor jobs report in April, shows the need for universal child care, saying that universal child care could create more jobs, create more positions. Here's more of what she says about that and how it could help the economy.
You write, President Biden talked about childcare today, and you write quite a bit about it in your book, Persist. You write about your struggles to find childcare when you were a working mom, writing, quote, "I went on from this job to write 12 books, get tenure at Harvard, build a consumer agency, beat a Republican incumbent to take a seat in the Senate, and run for president of the United States. Woo-hoo." That I'm quoting you. And yet, you probably say it differently. And yet, childcare nearly knocked me out. Childcare, or the lack of childcare, nearly sent me packing twice. So the Biden American Families Plan would invest $225 billion in childcare. You've asked him to nearly triple that, right?
Not quite. Let's do numbers for just a minute. He has 225 for what he deems childcare and 200 for what he deems early childhood education. My view is those are the same thing. That is, they're a continuous line of having our children cared for and having our children in early childhood learning. So he's at about 425. I think the full ticket for child care and early childhood education is about $700 billion. That gives us universal coverage. It also means we can raise the wages of every child care worker and preschool teacher in America. Those are predominantly women of color. You know, this bill is called the Jobs Bill, and we're talking about putting a lot of money into roads and bridges, and let's face it, that builds a lot of construction jobs, and I'm happy for that, genuinely happy. But how about we put some money into childcare that allows people to be productive, and that means lots of good jobs for women. We can raise those jobs up and make them true professional jobs that help millions of families across this country.
Elizabeth Warren is saying that her universal child care plan will cost around $700 billion compared to President Biden's $200 to $225 billion. Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. Do you think this universal child care will create jobs and help families, or will it hurt jobs and hurt families, or somewhere in between? Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. The rebuttal to the universal child care would be that the right wing is saying that it's designed to indoctrinate kids. Let me know your thoughts on that. Next, let's talk infrastructure. So, infrastructure plan should cost up to $800 billion, according to Mitch McConnell, which he's saying right before the Biden meeting, which is on Wednesday. So, Mitch McConnell said he thinks an infrastructure package should cost between $600 and $800 billion, and there is a meeting to discuss the infrastructure with Joe Biden and top congressional leaders Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and Kevin McCarthy on Wednesday. And Biden has backed the $2.2 trillion in infrastructure spending. He hasn't decreased it since. So that's a big gap to bridge between $800 billion and $2.3 trillion, as well as a lot of other proposals that Democrats want to put in there. For example, fourth stimulus check, increase in Social Security, first-time home buyer credit, as well as a lot of other things. So, for example, the fourth stimulus check, what's going on with that? So the White House says that a possible payment is up to Congress. That's the latest we've heard so far. When the White House press secretary was asked about the fourth stimulus check, whether President Biden supports it, she basically said it's up to Congress at this point. President Biden has made no mention about the fourth stimulus check. So far, with the $2,000 per month stimulus check petition, we have it at 2,155,000 signatures so far. Seems like it slowed down a bit. It had a big boost, and now it's not really going so much. But to be honest, even if this gets 3 million or 5 million, I'm not really sure how this will play into lawmakers actually having the proposal and putting it into the American Families Plan. Maybe if it gets a lot, then it will get the attention. But this, regardless of how many signatures it has, it won't become law. It still needs to go through Congress before a fourth stimulus check could happen. I'll keep you updated on that. Next, the Treasury will give states a lot of power to decide how to spend $350 billion in COVID relief funds. So this money is finally coming through, so state and local governments are getting this, and officials said states and territories are not allowed to use the funding to offset tax cuts or make deposit into a pension fund. And additionally, state governments will receive their funding in either one or two payments based on the respective unemployment rates. So with this money coming, when this came after the second stimulus check package, this is when a lot of the state stimulus checks started to happen. So for example, Texas, Ohio, Maryland, a lot of those states were giving their own stimulus checks when they got their hands on this money, $350 billion distributed among all 50 states. So I'll keep you updated on that. Regarding state stimulus checks, so Governor Newsom is going to give Californians a new round of stimulus checks. So he is going to give an additional $600 stimulus check and $500 billion toward rental assistance. So Governor Newsom tweeted a few things yesterday. He said that California is delivering immediate relief to renters through the largest renter assistance package in the country, $5.2 billion for renters to cover their back rent and their rent for several months in the future. and $2 billion to help pay overdue water and utility bills. And that's not it. Also, the stimulus checks, which I was just talking about, he said that money back in your pocket, 2 out of every 3 Californians will receive a check of at least $600, and families with kids will receive another $500. So that additional $500 will make it $1,100 for a family in addition to the $600. So that's a lot of money going around. So where's all this money coming from with the $600 stimulus and $5 billion toward rental assistance? So California had a surplus of $75.7 billion. So basically a surplus means that if you have a budget, if you go below the budget, you have a deficit, which is basically what the entire country has. We're trillions of dollars in debts. But in California's case, it had a surplus, which means it had more money than the budget. They had a lot more tax money coming in, and it's $75 billion, which means more stimulus checks, more renters assistance, as well as a lot of other programs that are going to happen. I'll keep you updated on what happens with that. Also, California is a really rich state. I looked this up. So if California were a sovereign nation, it would rank as the world's 5th largest economy, ahead of India and behind Germany. So if California ever wanted to break away from the US, it would be the 5th largest economy in the entire world. Just California. It's got Hollywood, Silicon Valley, all those startups. So a lot of money in California. Anyways, that is all the stimulus news I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here is my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys. Mom's bleeding. I was bleeding. I was. Bye. Hi guys, this is Bill. This is the tip of the day. This is something that I want to tell you. This is something that I want to tell you here now. So, as you learn, you be a better person. So keep on learning, and you'll be a better person. Bye. Bye.
If you want to get 2 free stocks, which is probably a really good time to get it since the stock market is basically crashing, you can click the link down in the description below, sign up through Webull, you get 2 free stocks. You're getting it at a really low point, at a discount, because most likely it's going to go back up in the future. Could be months, could be years. If you want to learn more about the stock market, you could click this video over here. It's on my Wise Sense channel. Ouch. Or if you want to check out some other stimulus videos, you could click down over here. Click either one of these, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching. Hit my funny bone.